slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
Summer movie season is always exciting for many film fans. From May through till September, large big screen titles make their way to our theaters to make us laugh, entertain us, give an emotional experience, and most of all, to have a good time. Think of the times you went to the movies in any summer, whether it be by yourself, with friends, or family. There will always be one movie that sticks out to you if you're a frequent moviegoer. The one movie that not only you remember each detail to as it unfolded before your eyes on the big screen, but an emotional roller coaster of an experience that you will never forget. We live in an age where summer movies dominate the box office. Movies like The Avengers, The Dark Knight, the rebooted Planet of the Apes trilogy, and whatever else you can think of. But I want to take you back to a movie that can be watched not only every summer, but anytime, anywhere, and still give you that feeling as if it's the first time. Jaws. Steven Spielberg's accidental masterpiece is a movie that has been kept alive in cinephile discussions for the 42 years since it released. Based off a book by Peter Benchley, this movie has been the reason many generations have been afraid to go back into the water. It's rare that a movie can often be responsible for a major change in summer activity, as when this movie opened 42 years ago in 1975, it resulted in beaches losing a lot of business due to a blooming fear of what may be lurking underneath the water. I don't think people necessarily thought that a bloodthirsty great white shark was going to come and attack them, but just the thought of that alone was enough to keep them away from the beach. The true terror in Jaws comes from how relatable it is. The movie's production has a notorious reputation in the industry for being a disaster, even inspiring documentaries about the behind-the-scenes mishaps. The shark would consistently break down due to seawater, the cast and crew would be hot and bothered working on shooting out at sea, and a young Spielberg went over his desired budget and schedule. But we still ended up with a great movie. When trying to evoke suspense within a movie's narrative, what you don't see can be even more effective than the most grisly, shocking death scenes in the goriest horror movies you can think of. The master of suspense Alfred Hitchcock used this quote often when describing how he made his films suspenseful. A bomb is under the table and it explodes. That is surprise. The bomb is under the table but it does not explode. That is suspense. We don't see the shark for a lot of the movie, but instead we see the true danger that it poses throughout its actions. The first half of the movie is more horror-orientated than the second half, and rather than show the shark in every chance you could, Spielberg showed it in little snippets. We see fins, blood, and the terror of the victims as the shark makes its move on Amity Island. The shark is shown more prominently in the second half of the movie, which feels more like an adventure movie in tone, with these three conflicting personalities attempting to work together to take out the beast. You have Chief Martin Brody, the loving father and devoted police chief of Amity Island with a fear of the ocean. You have Matt Hooper, an experienced marine biologist bringing his knowledge to the conflict rather than direct action. Then you have Quint, the veteran hunter who believes he is the only one that can take down the shark, citing his experience on the sea as an advantage over the beast, much like Captain Ahab. What's interesting is despite these characters conflicting within the script, the movie always makes you know that the shark is the antagonist of the movie, not any of the humans, and that includes the money-hungry mayor. Quint's story alone about the Indianapolis incident tells us so much in one little scene.
Another thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you, and those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red, and in spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in and they rip you to pieces.
Without showing anything of the shark, our imagination as he tells us this deadly incident provokes fear into our minds. I could go on and on about why Jaws is a technical masterpiece and a great movie, but the odds are you know these reasons. This is why Jaws is a great summer movie. Not only did this movie practically kick off the idea of a summer blockbuster, with people queuing around blocks to see this theater, creating the term blockbuster, but everything about it screams summer. The beach setting. The joyful scenes of children playing on the beach and feeling free. Summer vacations can often be a point in which many people do stuff for the first time, and that's even highlighted as part of Martin Brody's character when the mayor tells him it's his first summer. We often do things for the first time during a vacation, such as flying on a plane, riding a roller coaster, trying something new. The possibilities are endless. Martin Brody hails from New York and is used to seeing crime everywhere he goes, which is probably why his first reaction to the shark attack on Chrissy Watkins is to make the town aware of it and immediately take action. We later find out that he has a fear of the ocean due to the idea of drowning, and that is what makes Jaws. At its core, this is a movie about a man facing his fears in order to protect his family, and once you know that, it makes the ride more of an emotional investment. The story makes a point early on with the death of Alex Kintner. Nobody is off limits from the nature of this shark, not even children. Instantly, the movie creates tension from that moment alone. Anyone at all could be the next victim. Later on, when the shark is caught and the people of Amity are celebrating, we are treated to yet another emotional scene involving Mrs. Kintner. And whilst as an audience we should be thrilled the shark is caught, Mrs. Kintner doesn't seem to care at all regarding that.
I just found out that a girl got killed here last week. And you knew it. You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous, but you let people go swimming anyway. You knew all those things. But still, my boy is dead now. And there's nothing you can do about it. My boy is dead. I wanted you to know that.
I'm sorry, Martin. She's wrong.
No, she's not.
It's not that the shark was caught, it's that the town didn't do anything to prevent it from killing her son in the first place when they easily could have. Not only does this make us empathize with Mrs. Kintner, but it makes us empathize with Brody, as we know that he was the only one on the island who believed that they were in any kind of danger, but due to the pressures of keeping his job and his family safe, he unintentionally broke up another family. The scene that's brought up most often when talking about the emotional angle of the movie is during dinner, when Brody's youngest son Sean notices how stressed out his father is, and he begins to mimic his movements. It works because it's such a small moment, but it says so much about the characters. The reaction of Lorraine Brody and the subtle music from John Williams give this scene the emotional weight that it needs. The iconic two-note score is brought up a lot in Jaws, but the piece of music playing there is just as good. After the estuary attack scene, the shark traumatizes Brody's son Michael whilst claiming another victim, and this helps us root for Brody when he goes after the shark later. Even though we can tell he's terrified, he has to step up to help his family. The second half of the movie is when it gets more fun, and this is more of the popcorn summer blockbuster half that we're more used to nowadays. What Jaws does here is make sure that you already have a clear-cut image of the characters going up against this dangerous shark, and as a result, we already care for them. It doesn't immediately throw them into danger like some movies may do and just expect the audience to care. Spielberg took time to build these characters as people we grow to care about, and by doing that, we want to see them succeed. By the time the shark has proven its dominance over these three, and Brody is all alone facing off against the shark, it's one of the most intense finales between a protagonist and an antagonist seen on film. Brody is a one-man army mere inches away from his biggest fear, with the shark heading straight for him, but when he blows up the shark, you feel the exact same that he does. It helps that Roy Scheider isn't your go-to action star like a Stallone or a Schwarzenegger. He helps to sell the everyman feel, while still being a capable hero for this movie. You have an emotional arc with characters you care about, you have some of the most intense scares ever captured on film, and it's culminated with an adventure element to finally take out the shark, leaving you satisfied as you leave the theater, but perhaps not going near the ocean anytime soon. A great movie to me is one with well-written characters, a story you can invest yourself into, and one that has an effect on you even as you finish watching it. 42 years and still going strong in movie discussion, Jaws is the perfect summer movie.